Get more analysis of Jeff Sessions' pending testimony and its really implications in the broader Trump-Russia investigation. Let me turn to Robert Moran, live from London. Rob is a partner at the Brunswick Group consulting group. Robert, welcome to the program. Certainly, as we heard Owen mention, no shortage of questions for Jeff Sessions. But when it comes to what kind of answers he'll be giving and what kind of questions he'll be asked in the aftermath of Comey's testimony, what will you be looking for, and how forthcoming do you think he can really be?
Well, I'll be looking for two basic things. The first is how Sessions holds up after testimony in terms of a potential perjury charge. And I think that's what's on the table. And I think that's very serious. The second is the political fallout after the testimony. Ultimately, this is politics. It's in the Democratic Party's best interest to keep this going. At some point, Republicans in Congress looking at a tough midterm election have to think about their own electoral hides, and they have to think about how they operate with all of these different investigations and controversies going on. It doesn't look good for them in the midterms to begin with. Midterms are usually hard for the president's party, and this one looks especially hard.
But do you think he's going to really fill the void or connect the dots, or will he invoke executive privilege?
I'm skeptical that he's going to connect the dots. My hunch is that he may well have misled before, and that any further testimony only pours salt on that wound. I think that a lot of people would come to this conclusion. Ultimately, though, it's the political fallout afterwards, and it's worth also just pointing out there is a big distinction here between what the original concern is, which is perjury, sort of misleading in testimony prior, versus having contact with foreign officials, which, international back channels and having informal contact with folks in the diplomatic corps of other countries is fairly standard practice in most capitals around the world. And campaigns for president have contact with foreign officials, sort of diplomatic contact, and back channel contact is historically it's happened in the United States going back to the beginning. So I'm not sure that is terribly controversial. I think not telling the truth about it or hiding it is very controversial because it suggests that he's hiding a whole lot of other stuff.
Let me move on to another aspect of this story that's making headlines here in the United States, and that is the fate of Robert Mueller and whether Donald Trump has any plans here to fire him. I should also add the Deputy Attorney General testifying in Senate said he sees no reason that the special counsel should be fired. How unprecedented would it be if, in fact, Trump fired Robert Mueller, the special counsel?
Well, I mean, if that were to occur, we are in basically uncharted territory. I think that would be very explosive within this environment. The audience has to keep in mind that Mueller is generally regarded as a straight arrow and as somebody who's served multiple administrations and is not perceived to be a terribly political person. And firing him, I think, would create an even bigger firestorm if that's even possible at this point.